because I know you're here to network, but we are going to interrupt a few times because we've got some great awards that we're going to be giving out. And the very first awards we're going to be doing is by a very special guest, and we're trying to get him on in the next few minutes. So we will we'll be doing that quickly. He's actually connected to us here, but we're going to put it up on the screen, and we're going to have some opportunity to ask some questions and get some incredible help in our region from this special guest. So we want to make sure that we thank our sponsors for the event. So if we can get everybody quiet for just a moment. That's a beautiful setting. Beautiful setting. Our event sponsors in the back of the room, if you have yet to go over there and actually see them, you definitely want to go down to that end, sign up for a massage or different items that we've got around. So we want to give our event sponsors, these are our elite sponsors, Reliable Claims Adjusting, and that is with Andrew Gordon. We're going to have each one of them come up in a moment. Give him a hand. Next we have Ali Serrano Portraits, which is set up right here, and she's doing some actual portraits as we're sitting here. So then we have Dignity Memorial as well, down that direction. Everybody give them a hand. And of our elite sponsors, last but certainly not least, in our hearts, Jim and Kellyanne Jenkins with Jenkins Law. Give them a hand. We also have our other sponsors, Therapeutic Elements, Cruise Planners, and Unique Auto. They are the ones helping us make this deal us as sponsors. All right, well, we are going to do the Bonanza Extravaganza awards throughout, and one of those awards is going to be that cruise for two, right? Woo! So that drawing is going to happen in a little bit, but we do have a few other things that we're going to be doing. And the very first one I want to give out right now, because it's a very clear winner on this one, and that was the very first chapter to qualify. Now, how many sponsors did we need to have in Extravaganza in order to qualify? 6. Now, the very first chapter to do this, do you know that they did it in the second week? Woo! Second week of the whole 2-month process. They had a very strategically placed Visitors Day so that it happened right at the right time to get those to happen. And so do we have some members of Circle of Success, the BNI Circle of Success from St. Pete? Do we have some of those members? If you guys will come up. Do we have some here? We're hoping. We may have to re-announce that later because there are a lot of people stuck on 19 that are headed north from down on the south side of Pinellas County. It is insane, I've heard out there from several different, I got like 6 texts already of how those are going. So with that, have you met anyone here that you've connected with that you've never known before yet? That's kind of the point of a regional networking event. So I hope you guys are all having some fun, getting to know some folks. Know that we've got this entire room to use, so know that we can also go down that direction. I know we're going into the bar and getting drinks and coming through. And is the food good so far? Yeah, I'm impressed with it as well. So, all right, let's see if, are we ready? We got to see if we're ready for this. Aha. Let's take it on over here. Does anybody recognize this face? Ivan, we got quite the crowd here from all over our region, and we're excited to have you join us, everyone. This is Ivan Meisner, the founder and the Chief Visionary Officer of BNI. Ivan.
Hello, everyone. Looks like a good party. Hey, so Spencer, thanks for inviting me. Have you announced the Founders Award chapters? Do you plan?
We have not done it yet. I'd love you to help you. I'd love that help with you.
Help from you.
Yeah. All right. So here's the plan. I'm going to announce a few awards. I want to talk about your region briefly, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. I see that you're all standing, so I'm sure you don't want long presentation. So I'll just answer any questions that you've got about BNI. The only dumb question is the unasked question. I'm happy to talk to you a little bit about BNI, and then you guys go back to your party. But let me recognize the 10 Founders Award-winning chapters in your region or regions. The Founders Award-winning chapters are like the best of the top 5 or 10% of chapters in a region in a year. And so here are the 10. I'll give them to you one at a time. All right, ready? 1, BNI Grand Slam. And by the way, Spencer, do you have the awards?
I do have the awards. The awards are right over here with Tricia.
You'll get the awards that go with these. Number 2, BNI Referral Masters.
If we can have those from the chapters.
BNI Success Masters. Number 4, BNI Success Alliance. Next, BNI Deal Makers. Next, BNI Network Partners. Next, BNI Collaborators. Next, BNI Success Express. And number 9, BNI Record Busters. And last but not least, BNI Money Source. I think I got all 10 there. So just so you know, the chapters that qualify for the Founders Awards are chapters that are nominated by the local directors for certain criteria, like the size of the group, the amount of thank you for closed business, the attitude. It's an overall award. It begins with recognition from the local director and approved at Global Support and myself. So congratulations to those 10 chapters. Well done for being a great example of the BNI organization. I think they deserve a So there, I understand you have a chapter there, BNI Success Alliance, that's on track to become a titanium chapter in the next few months. Woo!
Tell them what titanium is, Ivan.
What is the number now? Is it 80 members?
75. I think it's 75 for 3 months.
Yeah. So 75 members to bring titanium. Not in my wildest imagination did I ever think we'd have chapters that are 75 members or more. So I'm very, very impressed. What a great job. I also understand that the BNI Referral Masters chapter has eclipsed $9 million in closed business. Truly, truly impressive. And one thing that Spencer wanted me to talk about was the fact that, having chapters that are really large and successful absolutely makes a huge difference in the amount of business generated. That is clear. It's clear based on the average thank you for closed business in your region. But what's even more important is the program that you've got going, which is Leave No Member Behind. It's that kind of mentoring and support of individual members, particularly new members in a chapter, that's really, really important. And so I urge all of your chapters to really engage in the Leave No Member Behind program, because I think it's very important for the success of healthy chapters and continuing to be successful for the individual members. So that's everything I wanted to talk about, unless I left something out, Spencer. What I'd love to do for a little while is answer any questions that you might have about BNI, the only dumb questions, the unasked questions. So this is the audience participation portion of the meeting.
I'm going to set this mic up here, and anyone that would like to come and ask a question can do it here, over here, over here, over here, over here. All right. So if anybody's got anything for Ivan that they'd like to ask. Here we go. We got somebody. Say who you are.
Dr. Ivan, my name is Troy Hastings, Superior Benefits. I'm the collaborators down here in South Tampa. We thank you for the award. The question I have for you, being a newer member to the BNI group and the family, as I consider it, what are some things that a new member should look for?
All right. No, all right. No more beer. That's it. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were saying what's a new member? What should a new member do?
Exactly. What are some things that a new member should strive for to make themselves the most successful, new family member of a BNI chapter, and to expand their network the most profitable way to make everybody, be able to eat instead of just one person, because it's really not how BNI was founded by your vision.
Right. Well, first and foremost, I think the member success program training is critical. We have found that there is a dramatic linear correlation between attending member success program training and longevity. That those people who don't do MSP in the first year leave before a year's up at a much, much higher rate than those members who do the member success program training. So one of the things I would urge your chapters to do is to make sure new members engage in an MSP. Second thing is mentoring. The more your chapters can mentor new members, because they're coming in, they don't know much about networking, they don't know much about BNI, the more you can embrace those new members and get them engaged, the better. And the third thing would be one-to-ones. If you can get those new members really doing one-to-ones and going deep and getting to know each other quickly, then you're going to do business faster. And I'll give you a fourth. You got to do awesome weekly presentations. And your weekly presentations should be about training a sales force, not asking for a sale. You're teaching people how to refer you, and that's a completely different kind of presentation. I talk about that in a number of my podcasts. So go to BNI Podcast and look at weekly presentations, or 60-second presentations, we used to call them, and you'll get some great ideas. Great question. I hope that helps.
Thank you, Dr. Ivan.
What else? You guys are easy on me.
Hello, I'm Paulina with Unsophisticated Cuisine, the Revenue Raisers in Clearwater, Florida. My question is, do you have any advice, as now we're trying to, get people to come in for the new leadership? Do you have any advice on how to nominate people? Because I was struggling yesterday writing this email, and I'm like, should this be my opinion? Should I be asking people if they're interested? Give us some guidance.
Yeah, so listen, first of all, I think directors should be helping in guiding chapters to find good leadership team people. My advice, I never recommend that you say to an entire chapter, who's interested? Because you don't necessarily get the right person. This should be a selection process, not based on popularity, but based on commitment and based on interest. If somebody's not interested in being on the leadership team, they're not going to make a good leadership team member. And so when I ran chapters, I was very involved in selecting the leadership teams. And what I would do is I would think about who would make a great president. I would sit down with them and I would say, you've been in the chapter this long, you've really shown that you are highly committed to the group. I think you would make a great president of the chapter. You're a strong leader, or whatever positive things that you can say about that individual, and ask them, are you willing to take on the role of president or one of the other roles? And so I would make that ask and make sure they're committed. If they're hesitant to do it, don't talk them into it. But let me tell you something. People who are on the leadership team, they stand out more in the chapter. And I could give you tons of stories of people who actually increased the amount of business they had just by being on the leadership team. One of my favorite examples is a gentleman who came to me and he said, I was president of a chapter and we always took photographs of the incoming leadership team every time there was a transition. And I had an old college buddy who saw me in the newspaper, and he called me up and he said, hey, I'm doing some business in town. I'd love to see you. It's been a long time. They went out to lunch and they had a conversation, and he said, look, the truth is, the reason that I called, he said, we were really good friends in college, and I'm doing business here in town, and it mentioned in your BNI group that you're a contractor. And he said, yeah, I've been doing it for years now. He said, you know what, I'm now a developer, and I'm developing properties. He said, I really, we were close friends. I really trust you. I just fired my contractor to do some work in this, help with a commercial building in this town. I'd love to talk to you about maybe taking on that job. He got the gig. He did so well. He now develops all of the property for this developer. He now builds all the property for this developer near that town. And it's been worth, he said, millions of dollars for him in business over the years. And it came because his photograph was in the newspaper as being the new president of a chapter. So there are some real opportunities for exposure, both in the local chapter and beyond. But you want to get people who are really committed to wanting to be a leader. So select them. Don't just ask for volunteers. I hope that, listen, I could spend a half hour talking about this topic. I hope that gives you a decent overview.
Thank you very much.
Good question. Just a few more questions if you have any. I know you guys are all standing and you want to drink, so I'll let you go. Just throw a couple more at me and we'll wrap up.
My name is Ali Serrano. I am with BNI Dealmakers. I'm curious about what's new for BNI International. Is there any new country we're in, or
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is there any new country we're in, or what's news with the BNI International with the company?
Great question. And so new country, yes, we've just brought on Russia into BNI. We have not kicked off there yet, but we have trained the Russian directors there. And so they are working towards actually doing a kickoff of our first chapter in Russia. We're presently in 73 countries worldwide. As of this week, we just crossed the 8,500 chapter mark. So we now have 8,500 chapters, 73 countries around the world. As for other new things, we're continuing to work on the BNI app. I don't know, Spencer, have you introduced BNI University in the region yet? Awesome. We love BNI University. And I promise you, you have only seen the tip of the iceberg. We have so much content that we're going to be putting up on BNI University. One of the really beautiful things about BNI University is that it gives a consistency to our training globally, because there was maybe not quite as a consistent application of our content. And so with BNI University, it's across the board, and we're translating it into different languages. So that, BNI is now in 30 languages or more. So it really is going to help take BNI to the next level. We are pouring so much into the technology and support and training and things like BNI University that I just see our growth continuing to skyrocket over the years.
Thank you.
So I hope that answers your question. It's a good question.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dan Tamarkin, and
can be very, very successful. Here's the pro and con lunch group. So if you understand the potential challenge in it, then you'll make the lunch group more successful. It's way easier to get visitors to come to a lunch group than a morning group. it's harder to keep members coming because that's in the middle of the day. And so you have to make sure to get people who are willing to make that commitment. Attendance is actually slightly more challenging unless you go into it with your eyes wide open. Because, you know, when you do a meeting, you know, all my meetings when I started BNI were all at 7 o'clock. You do a 7 a.m. meeting, there's no other business usually going on in most businesses. So it's just a matter of getting people up and there. But at lunch, you've got to leave your office, do the meeting, and then go back to your office. And so keeping regular attendance is really important. So you want to be very selective about who you bring in, and you want to ask them about being able to pull away and come to the meeting, or having someone approved as a sub from their company to come to the meeting. Otherwise, you'll have a bigger attendance issue. Love lunch groups. They're becoming more and more successful worldwide, and I'm glad to see you guys doing it there. Rick?
Hi, Dr. Meisner. Al Godomsky, President of Success Alliance. Could you give us an update on the BNI Foundation?
Yeah, so the BNI Foundation started in 1998. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. The foundation has given away millions of dollars to charities around the world. Our primary focus is children and education, so we have done a lot of work with mini grants that go straight to a teacher at a local school. But one of the big projects that we've been doing for the last couple of years, which I think is awesome, is Business Voices, which is a program that gets chapters who want to support local community causes, and it puts it under the umbrella of BNI. And so if you're at all interested in the foundation and Business Voices, go to bnifoundation.org, and find out more. The Business Voices project is an amazing project. What happens basically is chapters, there's a lot of things you can do, but what a lot of chapters are doing is adopting a small school, like an elementary school, and helping them in some way with their needs. Or maybe, a junior high or something. For example, here's one that was, I love this. This chapter went to this one school that had vocation days, but they were always horrible. And they usually only had 2 people, business people. They said for the last 3 years, only 2 business people came. And the chapter said, oh, we got this. We'll send 20 or 30 different businesses to talk to kids about what it is to be in business in all these different businesses. And I'll never forget it. I heard this story. I think it's so great. So one guy was a business consultant, and so he went in representing entrepreneurship. And this is what he said. Now I want you to hear this. This is so funny. He said to these kids were like 8 years old, and they didn't know what entrepreneur was. They could barely pronounce it. He said, all right, do you want to know the coolest thing about being an entrepreneur, about owning your own business? They're like, what? What's the coolest thing? He said to these kids, he said, you have no boss. No boss. You're the boss. And all these kids are like, no. You don't have a boss? He's like, I have no boss. I'm the boss. And then, boom, you see these kids who didn't know anything about business thinking, wow, I want to do something where I'm the boss. And it just lights a fire with these kids. So Business Voices, an amazing program. And if you want more information, Spencer can get information from me, and you can contact the foundation people directly and see what we got going on. I think business can be noble. The business can make a difference in local communities, and that's what our BNI Foundation does. Thanks for asking the question.
Have become a superhero for Business Voices, and we have a goal that every chapter in our region become a superhero chapter, so that we can have our whole region as a superhero region. And so if everybody is on board to become a superhero chapter, come and see us here. And this is each chapter donating. How much is it, Spencer?
$100 a month. $100 a month for the superhero and $50 a month for the hero. So we want to have every chapter participate in the will.
Yeah, so if you guys
I can
are
tell you that
interested.
there is no region in the world that has ever done that.
Well, we're going to try and be the first region because we believe that we are givers here in Tampa. And I think that it's doable. $50 a month from each chapter or $100 a month from each chapter. We're going to put that out there and hope that we can reach that goal.
And the foundation is a 501c3 charity, so it's a charitable organization. Thank you for that goal. I really appreciate it.
All right. We good?
Any last question before we wrap up, and then you guys can continue your party.
No, I think that we don't have any other questions coming up. Any final words from you, Ivan?
Yeah, listen, I really, when I started BNI 33 years ago now, I went to many networking groups that were very mercenary, and it was just about selling. And I'd leave those meetings feeling like I had been slimed, and I needed to go home and get a shower. And then I went to these other networking groups that were very social. It was just happy hour and hors d'oeuvres and nothing else. And what I wanted to do with BNI was to kind of merge that focus on business with the focus on relationship. And the glue that would hold it together was giver's gain. This idea that if I help you, you'll help me. We'll all do better as a result of that. I believe the result is that BNI is not only a great way to get business, it's an even better way to do business. Because you're doing business by helping other people do well. And I think, based on results, 8,500 groups now, 73 countries. I think we're helping to achieve my vision of what we have. And Tampa is one of the strongest regions in the United States. I am really proud.
There's been a thing that we get each day from our national director that talks about net growth in the United States right now. As of today, by the way, when we started, everybody listen to this real quick. When we started the net growth, we were 179th out of 185. As of this morning, Tampa Bay is number 5 in the nation. We are on top of the world. 3 new chapter launches, and we got 1 more coming in 2 weeks. So we are really hitting hard in Tampa.
I am impressed. Well done.
Everyone, thank
you, everybody.
Take
care. Well done. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, well, let's mingle for a minute, and we'll do some awards in a minute. Give it a break for a moment.
Finish it.